Nichols. Yes. It's wonderful to look out over this audience and see the LGBT folks and their straight allies who have helped us get to where we are today. And I'm reminded of a saying, it takes a village. And this could not be truer than for the LGBT movement here in South Carolina and nationwide. In working together, South Carolina Equality has had a busy, busy year. I think all of us will agree. And in case you need to be reminded, I'm going to run through a little bit of the timeline of what we've been doing lately. And let's start with marriage equality. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Colleen Condon and Nichols Blakely. The couple that partnered with us to put faces on the struggle of the LGBT couples to have the right to marry in South Carolina. And Colleen and Nichols have done such an amazing job of putting their life on public display. And while Colleen and Nichols were so gracious and brave to face the media storm across the state and in the nation, it was South Carolina Equality's Post-DOMA Litigation Task Force that gave us the insight and the legal expertise to navigate unfamiliar waters. And at this time, I'd like to recognize two leaders who served on the task force, our two lead attorneys, Melissa Burnett and Nikki. They deserved every second of that applause, by far. And also this year at the State House, we began the session with 5 anti-LGBT bills as a backlash from the marriage equality win back in November. And I am pleased to announce that we successfully stopped all of those 5 bills. The only state in the Deep South that can make that claim. And so while we take time tonight to recognize how far we've come and the important work that's still left to be done, I am still unsatisfied and restless about the inequality faced within our community here in South Carolina. And as Secretary Clinton stated last night at Winthrop, sure, we have marriage equality, but now you can get married on Saturday and be fired on Monday. Simply because you're gay, and that's simply wrong, and it's something that we need to correct, and we need to correct it. So let's not forget the tremendous work that still lies ahead. And now I'd like to introduce the founder of South Carolina Equality. She is no stranger to most of you in this room tonight, and she's a warrior for the LGBT movement and the LGBT rights in our state. And back in 2002, she saw the need for a statewide LGBT organization that would give us a voice of our community here at the State House right up Main Street. She's been a mentor of mine, she's been an advocate, she's been an advisor, and yes, sometimes even a constructive critic, but that's why I welcome Linda Ketner. And so ladies and gentlemen, I'd like for you to give a warm welcome to the founder of South Carolina Equality, Linda Ketner.
There's some people in here that were there in 2002 when all this started, and please stand up, the co-founders of South Carolina Equality. Necki, Johanna, Michael. Where's, yes, there it is. Let's hear it from them. Now, I got to tell you, this is something we never dreamed of in our wildest imaginations. To have tonight happen after a year of getting married and having Secretary Hillary Clinton here. Wildest dream. I want to know how many straight allies are here. Would you please? Now, listen, if you're a Democrat, you get to hoot so you can go, woo, like that. There you go. Seriously, you have put us where we are, particularly in a state like South Carolina. Forever grateful to you. Forever grateful to you. So in 1969, one among us was the first woman, the first student, to ever give a commencement address at her college, Wellesley College. And in the address, she quoted T.S. Eliot from East Coker. And you'll know why I'm pointing this out in a minute. The quote was, "There's only the trying, again and again and again, to win again what we've lost." And it should be the anthem for South Carolina LGBT activists. So let me read it again. There's only the trying, again and again and again, to win again what we've lost. She was an activist, and she was so well thought of in this speech that Life magazine that year printed the entire speech and a whole article about the young activist. And that was the world's first introduction to our extraordinary keynote speaker, Secretary Hillary Rodham Clinton. But even before that, evidence of the woman was very present in the girl. I don't know, I'm going to take you down memory lane. 6th grade, you want to be an astronaut. So she writes NASA, and she says, tell me how to get in the program so I can prepare. NASA writes her back a nice little letter that says, we don't allow women in the program. Fast forward a couple of years, and she's a senior in high school, and she runs for president of the student body. And some thick-headed guy says to her, after she loses, old thickhead says, I don't know what you were thinking. Girls can't be president of the student body. Right. Now, I would love for Secretary Clinton to give me his name and address. Because I want to write him a nanny boo-boo. And I've got this mental image of him reading it reared back in his orange Barker lounger, watching the Benghazi hearings, led by our own little Barney Fife, South Carolina. Who was it? Our little Barney Fife, who was getting eaten alive by, who was it? Secretary Hillary Clinton. It's probably clear by now, unless you're still wondering, that although I love and appreciate Bernie Sanders, I truly do, I am an ardent supporter of Hillary Rodham Clinton. And I deeply believe that it's time, the United States needs a woman president. Not just any woman president, Carly. We need Hillary Rodham Clinton as president. She was tremendous at the debate. It was wonderful. Looking at her standing up there being all presidential and discussing everything from the economy to international affairs to racism to sexism. And did you notice she is the only person that mentioned LGBT that whole evening? Unlike anyone running, or anyone probably seriously who has ever run, her depth and competency in foreign affairs and domestic affairs, her ability to work across the aisle, which she showed when she was senator from New York, United States Senator from New York, make her something really different. And I think Madeleine Albright said it best, another Secretary of State that I love. She said, "I have never met a person more prepared to be president." She's a world leader who restored our credibility and our reputation across the world as Secretary of State, and she's got a vision of an America in which I want to live. A vision which includes us. A vision which includes us getting all of our equal rights across the board. And she said last month at an HRC event, and I quote her, "I'm running for president. Let me start back. I want you to know that I get it. I get it. I see the injustices and the dangers that you and your family still face, and I'm running for president to end them once and for all." Secretary Clinton is scary smart. She's scary clear on who she is. She's scary determined. She is scary caring. She is scary strong. But scary only to those truly scary, self-serving politicians who have had the reins of this government way too long. And she will be our president, our president. We need to help. And I'm suggesting 3 things. VBG. Beth told me to leave that out. It sounded like a social disease, but it's VBG. The first V is vote. All of us in this room know how important voting is. Probably me most of all, having lost the congressional race by 1.25%, with all of you helping. But voting is important, and we all do it. What we need to do now is each of us identify 10 people that either aren't registered and register them and get them to the polls, or who are registered, which is most people, and don't vote. Get them to the polls. Get them to the polls. It's so sad that one of the most important elections Charleston just held for mayor, I think there was a 24% turnout. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous, and it's our fault. So if each of us get 10 people to the poll, and there are 378 of us in here, I think that's 378,000 votes, is that right? No, but it's a lot, 3,780 votes. Those zeros mess me up. The second V is for volunteer. All the presidential campaigns are ready, willing, and able to use our talent, and they want us. So just talk to them and volunteer. And the third one, it's a G, forgive. I know, presidential campaigns are obscenely expensive. They all are. But until we get a president that's going to push through campaign finance reform, we need to give as if our lives depend on it. Because you know what? Our lives depend on it. I know that you know plenty in our community who have been so hurt by politicians that they're uninvolved and they hate politics and they don't want anything to do with it. You know what? It's our job right now to explain to them that we no longer have the luxury of being disillusioned. We don't have the luxury. There is simply too much at stake. The next president will probably nominate anywhere from 2 to 4 Supreme Court positions. We all know that the marriage vote was 5 to 4. It can go the other way. And there's lots of things this year that went against what I consider American ideals. Things like corporate personhood. You talk about an oxymoron. Corporate personhood, campaign spending was wacko, and voting rights, which was truly horrible. With the wrong president, it could go against us, and we could have other things that hurt us a lot, like women's reproductive freedom. Separation of church and state, and sensible gun laws. These are all at stake. I know I'm preaching to a room full of the converted, right? But here's the thing. This year we've got to lead. We've got to awaken the slumbering masses of people and help them to understand that the future of our country as we know it, the future of our country as we need it, is at stake. It is at stake. And then guess what? So when we're all up there, when she is getting sworn in as President of the United States, we are going to shout out, "Hey, Mr. NASA of the Girls Can't Be Astronaut," and "Hey, Mr. Thickhead of the Girls Can't Be President of the Student Body. Hey, guess what? Take a look. The First Lady of Arkansas, the First Lady of the United States Senator from New York, the Secretary of State is the President of the United States."